Hi everybody, my name's Cougar Draven, and I just spent 38 minutes talking about philosophy. Well, actually, it's more like 30 minutes, but still, I just spent half an hour talking about philosophy, specifically Ludwig Wittgenstein's Tractatus Logico Philosophicus. Originally, I was going to follow that up with talking about David Hume, or perhaps John Stuart Mill's On Liberty. And I was gonna start it off with a little joke story about. Well, it's not a joke; it's the truth. One of my favorite of all time favorite videos is I've seen a Let's Play video where technically it's a Let's Play video, which was a thing started by Slow Beef of Slow Beef, who is oops, sorry. Slow Beef basically he didn't invent the concept of Let's Plays, but he was an early adopter basically. And I've seen things go either way because some people don't like him, some people do, some people find him hilarious. I think he's funny sometimes, but he can also be an asshole, which he's honest about it. He says I can be an asshole. I mean, he started a Let's Play channel specifically to make fun of other people who do Let's Plays. I mean, come on. And it's one of those videos that I was going to start off with. He had a video where he found a video where somebody uploaded a Let's Play, and this is actually kind of funny to me anyway, because the whole thing of this is it's going to go over a video I recorded a month ago of I believe this is going to be Pokemon Liquid Crystal. But anyway, he did a recording of this 10-minute YouTube video of some Mario ROM hack. I don't remember the Mario ROM hack. I don't know who did the thing. The only thing I know about it is that every time they would use a save state feature, it would show the SNES 9X splash screen for various stupid reasons. And he read for 10 minutes. He read the beginning of On Liberty by John Stuart Mill. Only every time that splash screen happened, he would just stop and say SNES 9X, and then go back without missing a beat, or sometimes just having to start over at the beginning of a sentence. He would just read more of On Liberty. And I was going to read a little bit from that myself, but because it's an interesting work to me. But I'm done with philosophy, and it's and reading about it and from it right now. I've done my studying. I have a test tomorrow. I'm going to do as well as I can on it, but I'm not expecting to be perfect. My major concern right now is finishing my calculus homework. I tried doing it earlier, during the first recording, but I couldn't focus on that and talking, that and homework at the same time. So I just said I'll do it later. And it might have something to do with the fact that I'm tired. Played D&D at a friend's house last night. Stayed up until 6 o'clock in the morning watching Twitch Plays Pokemon, which is funny as hell, by the way. Stayed up until 6 o'clock watching this. Got up at 10, and it's now 5:15. So, all things considered, I could use some sleep. And I'm probably going to go to sleep early tonight. I just want to try to get the homework done, and if I get it done, good. If I don't, I'll deal with it. That said, I guess I want to talk about, I mentioned that I'm taking 3 classes plus 1 that's bullshit. I commented on my calculus homework. I commented on philosophy at length. I mentioned the English class, but since that doesn't start for a couple of weeks, I think is in fact 2 weeks from tomorrow that it starts. Since that doesn't start for a couple of weeks, I don't really have anything to say about it. So, what I do have, on the other hand, is commentary about the bullshit class. Now, since I am at the age of 27, a first semester student at the local community college, because I waited nearly 10 years to go to school. Since I'm a first semester full-time student, I have to take something called MCC 101, which is also known as the College Experience, which is basically a long-form orientation for people who are various kinds of, like, there talks about people who's like, oh, they waited, these are established adults who are like, I want a degree now, and so this is how they're getting used to it, and this is one way in which people might not be ready for college. Are you ready for college? And it's just like, if this book didn't consistently end the class, if it didn't consistently talk to me like I was a goddamn 5-year-old, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. It's an easy class. It's just like, okay, this is what it does. Just let me do the grunt work, do the busy work, get the free credit, and move on. I'm doing more work, I think, in this class for 1 credit hour than I am in my calculus class for 4. Think about that for a minute. At least I think it's 4. It might even be 5. I don't know. But that's the problem here. I'm it's a 1 credit hour class, but I'm doing the work of a full class load. And that bothers me a little bit, but hey, whatever. Let's see. But yeah, I had an incident last week where I believe the paper that it's not even really a paper. I've only had to write 1 paper so far, and it was a 1-page applied philosophy thing for my philosophy class, where I had to show how I learned to think like Socrates, and I got 83 points out of it. I got an 83 on it, so I did all right. But no, so it was just this one. I had to write a 1-page assignment reacting to a chapter in the book on critical thinking, and I've taken this class kind of, I don't want to say not seriously, but that's pretty much what I've got to say here. Is I don't think I've been taking it as seriously as I could have. And I've been sarcastic. And I guess it's amused the teacher, the instructor, because I've gotten comments like saying, I appreciate your unique insight. I appreciate the way you think of things, and da-da-da. And, I like the fact that I can make someone laugh every now and then, but part of the reason I was being sarcastic is because I find this class to have no value. I find it to be condescending, and, it panders to people who are just like, oh yeah, this is, everybody needs to learn how to act in a college setting, and it's like, I'm 27 goddamn years old. I graduated high school. I am not an at-risk, I didn't just barely make it in on by the skin of my teeth. I waited almost a decade to go back to school. Maybe there are some people who, tested poorly, and they're just like, I'm going to school because my parents say I have to. I'm going to school because society says I should. I'm going to school because I can't get, because I can't get a job without a degree. And maybe they're not ready. And those are the people who this class is for. I'm 27. I chose now to go back to school because I finally figured out what I want to do with my life and my skills and my talents. And so it bothers me a lot, actually, that I've got this, it bothers me a lot that I've got this thing where I can't, I can't opt out of this class. I have to take the class, and I have to deal with it, and I have done so. And so, I'm sarcastic about it. In one of our assignments, we were asked to look through the school's code of conduct and find 5 new or interesting facts. And let me tell you something. Since day 1 of, I think, middle school, when they first handed me a guidebook that included a student code of conduct, I have spent at least 4 or 5 hours every semester, if not every year, trying to find loopholes. I've read every code of conduct of every school I've ever attended. And so in that time, there were no new or interesting facts. about actually there were a couple interesting facts in the code of conduct, like LGBT people are actually afforded some pretty robust protections, and I appreciate that. But the one thing I commented on is that there's a pretty blatant grammatical error that makes almost all online activity against the school's code of conduct. And it's a mistake, and no sane person would ever actually think it would be interpreted like that. But at the same time, the exact wording of the code of conduct states it, and I found that funny, so I commented on it. And I'm normally fairly sarcastic, but also funny, but also okay. But on Tuesday, as it was Tuesday of last week, I was trying to write this paper, this reaction to this critical thinking thing, and I got about half a page. This was supposed to be a page. I got about half a page done, and I just realized that I stopped being okay. Now, I don't know if it's ever come up, but I was diagnosed with major depression when I was 12, maybe 10. I don't exactly understand. I don't exactly understand the way my timeline, the timeline of my past even works anymore. I don't know what happened when I was 10, 12, 13. I don't know. If it happened before high school, it's kind of blurry. But I was diagnosed with major depression when I was very young. Based on discussing things with some medical professionals since then, I've never actually had the money to get an appointment and get diagnosed properly, but I believe I was misdiagnosed and I'm actually bipolar. Well, with basically bipolar 2 depression. And among other things. But I have some issues with, well, frankly, coping with reality. And on Tuesday, during the middle of writing this paper, I had one of those moments where it's just like, I'm done. I can't cope with reality anymore. I quit trying. The hell with you. The hell with this paper. But I couldn't just leave it like that. The paper was due for Wednesday evening, and I wasn't going to be around the internet at all on Wednesdays, other than, like maybe 15 minutes before class started. But, so I had to finish it on Tuesday night. I had to. And so I finished it, but what it ended up being was half a page of kind of, thinly veiled sarcasm, and half a page of a long form rant about how critical thinking is nice and all, but when you're in the middle of, having an episode where you can't think properly, critical thinking doesn't help you at all. And as of this morning, I still hadn't gotten any feedback on it. Hell, as of this afternoon. I submitted it 5 days ago. It was due on Wednesday at midnight. Technically Wednesday at 11:59 p.m., so Thursday. 1 minute before Thursday. So typically she grades things 2 days after, which means Thursday, Friday, so Friday night, Saturday morning. Maybe I have to wait until tomorrow. I don't know. I'm still waiting on feedback. I don't actually expect, I don't know. I don't know what I think anymore. It's all about the things we don't talk about. The mental illness, the sexuality, the political viewpoints. Less so about the political viewpoints. They're mostly inconsequential. The big ones are the things we can't change about ourselves. I can't change the fact that I have a mental illness. I can't change the fact that I've questioned most of the things about my identity pretty much for the past decade. I can't change those things. I am who I am. And so when I run into problems like, the way that, being me has been troubling, like, I have issues sometimes. I have issues with reality and not wanting to be part of it anymore. I've been that way for, a decade, more than. The first time I spent any time in the hospital was when I was 15, almost 16. And then when I was 24, so just about 2.5 years ago, I spent a month in an institution. I say institution. I don't know what the actual politically correct terminology is. I always heard mental institution or psychological or psychiatric ward or psychological facility. They're all different things. They're all different names for the same kind of thing. I'm sure that there's people who are more pedantic than me out there who probably have, separate categories for these things. But, I spent a month in hospital about 2.5 years ago because I had a massive breakdown following my split from my ex-wife, and the fact that I handle hard liquor about as well. I mean, I handle it really well. My liver is great with it, but it affects my psyche. It affects my emotional stability in ways that just aren't great at all. So I don't know. Like I said, it's about the things we don't talk about. The things that are important. Like nowhere, I don't know. I haven't actually really read this book because the entire concept of the book is somewhat offensive to me because the entire point about is the entire thing about the book is, oh, you need to get you need to do things, so you need to learn to be a different person. And these things are, they've got some good ideas. Like, god damn it, I've opened this book maybe 4 times, which is part of the problem because I haven't opened it enough to actually affect the binding. So every time I let go of a page, it flaps shut. So it's like chapter 1 is, how to be good at college. Step 2 is setting your goals to accomplish what you want. Step 3 is about learning style. Step 4 is all about time management and money management. Step 5 is critical thinking. Step 6 is all about the online learning stuff. Step 7 is about taking notes. And I'm not looking forward to any classes where it's like, okay, you need to take notes in this style, in this way, and you're gonna turn them in, and na. Because let's be frank, just to step out of this concept of mental illness for a second to talk about notes, note taking. People who decide to tell you how you need to take notes are they're teaching wrong. Each person learns differently in different styles, and if taking notes in one way works for somebody, it might not work for somebody else. But anyway, let's see. Chapter 10 is about the closest you can get because there's also, it's like it shows, it's all about building relationships and encountering people who are different than you, and that's nice. That's nice and all, but there's nothing about there's nothing about mental illness in here. There's nothing about how mental illness can affect your college success. And I know some people that would say, oh well, then it just means that if you're mentally ill, you just need to work harder in college. And maybe that's true. And I have had to work a little bit harder than I usually do in life. I probably have to work harder in some things than other people I know. On the flip side, math and philosophy come easy to me, so I haven't had to work as hard in those as other people in the class. But really, what it bothers me is I guess I've been afraid that someone's going to tell me that because I have a problem with mental illness, because I'm not because I'm not normal, that I shouldn't be trying to go to college, that I should focus on, just living with my mental illness and coping with that. And I'm just like, I'm sick of coping. I want to build fucking rocket ships. It's all about what we don't talk about. I'm sick, it's like I will stand up and fight for anyone who is marginalized, who is looked at with distrust by the human race. There are There are demographics I don't represent, but there are demographics I do. And I think that everyone needs to understand that everyone, they're... I don't know. I'm getting mad. Excuse me. I'm getting mad. I don't mean to. I'm tired. I didn't sleep as much as I should have last night. I mean, I slept more than I usually do on Saturday nights, but I didn't sleep as much as I should have. So I'm tired, and I'm in a bad mood, and I just set myself off because I just don't like people that much. I've been having a bad week. I've been having a bad month. And it's becoming increasingly obvious that there's really no one I have to talk to about it. So I'm talking into a microphone. I'm talking into a microphone. I'm going to, I'm going to render this into a video, and then I'm going to put it online. And then once I put it online, I don't know what I'm going to do then. But I'm going to upload this video. It's going to show up on the internet, and things will happen. I don't know what things will happen. I just know that things will happen, or they won't. I got about a minute and a half left, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But hey, thanks for listening. If you have listened all the way through, I admit that the Liquid Crystal series isn't really the most popular thing I've ever done. Neither is the Minish Cap. Sorry for being on such a downer today. It's been a very long, very tiring week. And I'm pretty sure that I don't really even feel like I'm all here right now. Like, I'm doing things. I'm talking into the microphone, and it tells me I've been doing it for 22 minutes, but I don't remember. I don't clearly remember the things I've said. I couldn't list the things I've said if you asked. I don't know. All I know is that I'm tired, and it's probably going to be a while before there are any more videos from me. This is going to be the end for a little while. I've got to finish my semester, and then I'll come back. I'll probably feel better. I don't know. I might get, it's like I'm trying to get professional help right now. So, until then, thanks for watching, guys. My name's Cougar Draven. See you later.